Hey everybody, welcome to another Stamp Anything video. It's Kevin here, and today I'm going to be coloring Betty with Ohuhu markers. And Betty is from our latest stamp set for January, the Yabba Dabba Do set. So I thought I would make a cute little card with her. So I'm going to color her with Ohuhu markers, and then I'm going to do a quick little background card that's super easy and simple. And I'm going to use some previous die cuts that I did as well, using our Grand Poobah and Dino builder die. So first off, for her skin tone, I'm going to start with my Ohuhu Y145, which is my Buttercup Yellow. So this is Buttercup Yellow I'm going to use, and this is going to go right around her hairline. And I'm just going to fill it in right under her hairline here. And I'm going to bring it down into her cheeks. I'm also going to put a little bit of shadow under her neck and down the right hand side. I'm going to do in her elbow, her thumb up to where her top is of her dress. I'm going to shadow the right hand side of her leg and under her dress. I'm going to go under her dress, and I'm going to go on the right hand side of her other leg and a little bit into her shoulder. And I'm also going to put just a little bit right above her eyelash here and on this side as well, and one little dot into her nose with that Y145. So next up, and this is a very simple, easy, quick blend. This is only 3 markers for this skin tone. And this is going to be next is our YR20. So our YR20 of our hoo-hoo-hoops. And I'm going to turn her away from me now, and I'm going to go across that line. And I'm going to extend it down lower now. And I went down a little further. I'm going to go right up above her eyelash line here. Just a little bit more definition under her eyebrow. And then a little bit into her neck, her hand, her arm now. Kind of going over everything a little bit more now. And I'm trying to keep just using the tip, getting a little wiggly there. That's okay. And again, a little dab in her nose. So that was the YR20. So now I'm going to our R18, and this is our pastel peach. So this is going to finish off the skin color. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go under her chin. I'm going to bring that color up. Around her face where I've already colored it. And I'm going to start bringing that color down. So I am going to kind of draw around her eyes now. So I like to turn it, you can see I'm kind of spinning it all over the place. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come off from this eyelash line, and I'm going to kind of create the circle around her eye, and I'm going to try and keep it bigger just so I make sure that I keep that white space open. So now I'm going to do the same on her other eye. I'm going to come out from that eyelash line, and I'm going to try and make sure it's a nice big circle because we can always fill it in. And then we're coming back up around that side. You can see I kind of went in a little bit too far over here, but I can get rid of that with a colorless blender. And I'm just going to come up now and blend this all in more. And I'm going to soften this out here. You can see I'm kind of using the side of my Ohuhu marker just to get it to blend. Now I'm going to go into her neck, and I'm going to color that all in The same with her arm. I'm going over everything I colored, then into her fingers, just to lighten everything out and get it to all blend in now. And her legs as well. Now I am going to use my colorless blender just to see where I did my little boo-boos, where I kind of went out of a line. So right in here, into her shirt. Now I'm going to make sure her eyes look good now, so I'm going to push that out. So sometimes the camera adds a little bit of color distortion that you don't actually see in your card. So her skin tone may look a little blotchy perhaps on video, but when you're coloring it in real life, not on video, and what your actual eye sees, it should look a lot more blended. Now we are going to go in and put some eye highlights in, but we're going to save that for after. So next we're going to color her tongue, because we don't want to just leave her with no tongue color. So I'm going to use R26, and I'm going to put that on the outside of her tongue on both sides, just like that. Then we're going to go in with our R30. So our R30, and we'll zoom this in a little bit for you too. And our R30 is just going to go in the middle, and then we'll just swirl it out and blend it in. So there we have a super quick little skin tone for Betty. We're gonna zoom out just a little bit again. So now I'm gonna do her hair, and her hair is going to be made up of 4 colors. I'm going to be using NG09, NG06, NG03, and then GG020 as my final color. So I'm going to start with my NG09, and I'm going to start, and we're going to be using that flick method, and that is just where I'm going to pick my corner, and then I'm going to flick out from that corner. And then I'm going to pick another corner here, which is up here, and I'm going to do the same thing. And I just do a couple, 3, 4, depends, little spots coming out. And then the midpoint is going to be where we have a highlight. And then, so some places we don't have a corner. So what I like to do is I like to start from a point. So right here, and maybe I'm just going to flick out from there. And sometimes from this rounded spot here in her hair, because it's not a point, I like to do the same thing, where I just kind of come out. And we've got the start of her hair with the NG09. Next, I'm going to go in with my NG06, and these are our natural grays right now, or sorry, our neutral grays. So again, I'm just going to flick out from where I came from, but I'm not starting from the very bottom here, not from where I started. I come out a little further than that, just because I don't want to over blend or over lighten the color that I first put down. And you can see how I'm just adding just a little bit more color everywhere here. And you want, I'm going to add one right there too, just from where I hadn't added a line in before. Next, I'm going to go in with my NG03. And same thing, we're just going to continue along that path of filling it in. And then in the end is when we can go back and make sure everything looks perfect. And we may decide that her hair is too light still, and that is totally okay if we want to go in and make it darker. So now we're in with our GG020. And here is, I'm just going to be putting in just in the middle. So this is our lightest highlight color. And then here now, we've kind of got that first coat done on her hair color. So I am going to go over it a second time just because I want it deeper and I want it to be darker because Betty does have pretty black hair. So again, we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to do our little flicks. So we can go extend a little bit more now if we'd like. And this time I'm going to come down from this spot a little bit. And we'll come out from this corner. And I'm going to say that's one thing that you definitely can do when you're coloring with your Copics or your Ohuhu, like I am here, is don't be afraid to go in and do a second run with your colors. A lot of times it needs that whole second coat to really get that depth and get what you're after. Here you can kind of see I kind of like went outside the line with her hair. So I'm just going to go with it and fill it in. Then in with that NG06. So really all you're doing is just doing it to a degree where you find you are happy with how it looks and what you're wanting to see and achieve. And I'm going in with that NG03 again. And I'm going to leave her hair there, except I'm going to just extend this just to connect. And right in here where I think it needs a little bit. Maybe just a little bit in there. There we go. So there we have Betty's hair. Next up, we're going to do her dress. So her dress, I'm going to start with B290. And the colors I'm going to be using are B290, B070, B050, and B030. So I'm going to start off again with that B290, that darkest blue, and I'm just going to add, just with the very tip, just on the right hand side of where her dress falls. So that is going to be my darkest area, and I'm going to do the same in a little bit of the bow here. So that was the B290. Next up is the B070. So our B070. So again, we're going to start on the right hand side. I'm going to come down a little bit, going over what I did. Just hopping along those lines and up. And here, just kind of making it blend a little bit more. And here. Next up, the B050. And you can probably see by now how easy she actually is to color. And we're just going to go in. And I'm not being too perfect. I'm just kind of going in Just blending that up a bit. And then finally, our B030 is our last color. And here I'm going to just make sure I'm kind of bringing it, pushing it in from this light space into the dark. So I'm going around here and I'm pushing it over. So her little necklace is usually kind of black. I'm just going to use NG03 just to color just that kind of chain part because I don't want it too dark. We're going to leave that little part white. What we are going to do, or I'm going to do, is I'm going to use a white Posca pen with a fine tip. You can use a white gel pen as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill this in just a little bit more here with that Posca pen, just so it's got a little bit more white there. I'm also going to add a little bit more white to the highlight of her eyes because I just want her to have just a little bit more highlight there. You can also add in a little bit of highlight to her dress and to her bow if you'd like, and even in her hair. And I'm not going too overboard with my highlights here. Where am I? Who knows? So there we have our Betty, simply colored with Ohuhu markers. Now let's give her a quick background. So I am just using a pre-folded A2 card size right here. So it's pre-folded. And because I want to keep it simple, I'm just going to keep this white. I have a yellow piece of textured cardstock cut to 5 3/4. So this is cut to 5 3/4 to sit inside. And then I have a piece of cork cut to 3.5 by 2.5. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to quickly glue this down, and I'm going to show you how we're going to make this into a super cute card. And keeping it easy. All right, so I've just used some of our glue. So again, this is super simple. So sometimes cards, I know we like to make them elaborate sometimes, but sometimes we just want a quick card. And this is what I'm calling a quick card. So I'm going to use this glue on the cork, even though I know the cork is a little bit porous. And I just chose cork for the sake of the different texture that it has, and it helps give you a little extra pizzazz to your card without you having to do a whole lot of work. So now that we have that cork on, we're going to place Betty on top. And I'm just giving her a quick glue. Super easy. She's going to set right on this cork space right here. Now, I'm going to link it in the video right here, and I'll show you how to use these, but these are the bowling accessories from the Grand Poobah and Dino Builder die. So I will show you those in a video, so it's going to be linked right above up here. But I'm just going to use some double-sided foam dots. I love my foam dots. So we're going to just do this super quick and super easy. Now, it does make it easier that these are already done. Not going to lie there. So I'm going to have my bowling pins right here. I'm going to get a little pop dot for my bowling ball. And if it does stick out, you can just trim off the excess if you're using a pop dot, because the bowling ball is round. So we're going to just quickly snip off a little bit of the extra of what's showing here. And I'm going to place the bowling ball kind of half on, half off this cork piece. And finally, this bowling pin, I want it kind of flying in the air. Does that mean we actually have an extra bowling pin in this lane? Maybe. Only a true bowler will know. But I wanted to leave lots of space for my sentiment when this card is finished, which will sit right above in that empty space. And maybe if I want to add a little bit of adornments after as well. So let's throw this pin, let's say right like, we're going to throw it right there, and that's it. Maybe it's just been hit or about to be struck. So there is our super quick and easy card using Betty from the Yabba Dabba Do set that is out now and for sale, as well as our cute little bowling pins and our bowling ball from the Grand Poobah and Dino Builder die. I'm going to go ahead and add a sentiment, and then I'll take a picture and it'll be at the end of this video. And again, this will be linked up above if you want to go and see how to build this. But thank you for joining me on the Stamp Anything channel and coloring with some Ohuhu markers today. So remember, Stamp Anything is your place where you're gonna stamp it, color it, and love it. Thanks a lot, everybody, and we'll see you next time.